guys, welcome back to my channel and thanks so much for watching. Today I'm sitting down very casually with you and I want to have a little talk about something. It's not even like a rant or a venting session. It's more just something that I've noticed right around the mark of hitting 5,000 subscribers. I feel like people got a little sassy about, and I just kind of wanted to voice my opinions on some of those things so we could talk about it. So obviously I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on young marriage. I had recently talked about this on my Instagram stories just because The Bachelor and all that stuff. There's a lot of comments out there right now and I got 50% oh my god, thank you, at least somebody's saying it, and then I got 50%. Well, I mean, there's a really high chance you could get a divorce. Rude. So that's just what we're going to be talking about today. Make sure to go below and click the subscribe button if you are new here. If you are also new here, please know I don't accept hate comments of any kind in the comment section. I want my comment section to be a place free of hate, a place that people can go and be happy, because I know that there are some YouTubers' comment sections that I just stay away from. I don't even go near them, because it doesn't matter if I was oh my god, look at the beautiful blue sky. Someone would be like, how dare you bring up the sky color. So if you are new and you haven't subscribed, just know we don't do hate on this channel. So that is a beautiful thing, at least I think it is. You can also follow me on my Instagram, which I will link right here, or even my vlog channel. Those are just other ways that you guys can keep up with me. DMs on Instagram are the easiest way to keep in touch with me. So just make sure that you join the fam in all forms, and let's get into today's video. My favorite little girl is here. Say hello. So I've written down some notes just to make sure I get everything out. So what I was saying about The Bachelor, right now this season is very, very young. Everybody in The Bachelor is I really think the oldest girl on that season was 26. To my understanding, The Bachelor used to be a show where it was older people who had had a shot at love and then weren't really good at it. They could go on the show and it's a reality TV show and they could date this one person. Obviously that is not real. Obviously that's not in any case how dating, or at least how it shouldn't work. But this season there are a lot of 23-year-olds, and so the big question has been, they're not ready. How dare they go on that show? They're not ready. Okay, first of all, I don't believe you can be ready just by seeing somebody on TV and being yes, I'm ready to marry them. But that's just my personal opinion. However, I also don't think that you can just wake up one day there's this magical number where you wake up and you're okay, marriage. And I'll get more into that in a minute, but that's kind of what just really frustrated me about all these people just in general pulling all young people into one little place and saying all of these people aren't ready for marriage. The next thing is this weekend I went to Savannah, Georgia, obviously, for a bachelorette party. Now, people don't know how old me and the other girls were in this group. And people were 50% were oh, congratulations, when's the wedding? And then the other 50%, there were people literally yelling from their cars when we were walking by, too young. Let me tell you, they were lucky I did not hear that. I was already around the corner, because I don't take lightly when people are rude to my friends. You don't know how old she is. You don't know how old that bride is. People always mistake my husband for being significantly younger than he is. Always. And so you don't know how old someone is. And also, you're sitting in a truck. Who are you to yell at a random stranger and say that they're too young for marriage? You don't know them. You don't know their life. So maybe this is a venting session, but that is just kind of where this video comes from, was these accumulation of things I've seen, and I wanted to just say this about it. I want you guys to know that you are not alone. I believe that there is no perfect day that you wake up and you're just ready for marriage. And I'll tell you a story that is so incredibly real and will make you understand what I mean when I say that in a different part of the video. But there was also a part of this weekend where someone made the comment to the girls in the elevator of, well, what are you guys doing getting married when you're so young, or something along those lines, because we had on bridesmaids t-shirts. So looking at somebody in an elevator who has on a bride or bridesmaid t-shirt and just straight out telling them that they're not ready for marriage, you don't know them, you don't know their age, you don't know their relationship, you don't know anything about that person, what they've been through, how long they've been with their significant other, and you just decide because you're a stranger and you have an opinion on something that you're right. So that is, to me, is equal to looking at somebody who is standing on an elevator in a full athletic uniform. Clearly, they're going to play a game. And there's a chance that they'll lose that game, but they've worked hard to play this game, and they're excited for it, and you just look at them and go, there's a chance you'll lose. Guys, that's not right. That's not what we do. And like, even having to say like, oh, I don't accept hate comments. Like people just say, why don't you accept hate comments? Like you should just understand that's part of life. It shouldn't be. You shouldn't just sit back quietly and just let people say mean things because that's life. You should always stand up and say what's right. And I just don't think it's right that random strangers now feel that they know better. They know you better than you know yourself and you know that relationship. And it's true. All of us in that Bachelorette group are under 24, I believe. I'm 23. Yeah, all of us are under 24. And all of us can agree when you know, you just know. Like I knew the moment I saw my husband, he was going to be the one that I was going to marry. And same for my other friends. Don't ever look at somebody when you're on an elevator who you don't know and say, what are you doing getting married so young? Because that is equal to looking at somebody who's about to go play a game and say, there's a chance you'll lose. We all know that. We know that divorce is real. We're not blind to it. We're not stupid. And you don't know the conversations that have gone into this marriage. Like I know for me, I sat down and when Sam and I were talking about marriage, it wasn't just like, oh, I really love him and so let's get married. And then we just decided to get married. We sat down, I remember one night when we lived in our old house, we were having dinner, and I remember it was like a fancy dinner, and we just like went through every single point of life. Like everything that we've ever heard can cause marriages to end. And we went through and we just went through this list of all of them. And obviously you can't completely prep yourself for things, but Sam and I have also been through extremely hard times together. Harder than most people I think should have to go through. And so after going through all of these things and talking about all of these things, and we felt like we were ready and we were on the same page. So I was okay with getting married. And then this happened. So the whole point in making this is because those of you who have looked at people and said your marriage will fail, or those of you who have felt the pain that someone sends to you when they say that, I want to tell you a little story. So this happened to me, I want to say it was December. So I think it was roughly October or September of 2017. So I was already engaged. I was well into planning my wedding, and I had already been engaged for almost a year, and I was working with this lady. And there was one day that I was working with 4 women. Now we were in a space, I'm an interior designer. We were in this space and we were unboxing a lot of the new decor pieces that we were getting. So when I say we were in the space, I mean we were in this space for 8 hours, just us, just unboxing. So of course you're talking and things wander. So these ladies, all 4 of them, one was in her, I believe, early 30s and had gotten married very young. One was in her, I believe, late 60s and was on her 4th marriage. And I believe she actually wasn't even married. She might have only been engaged to the guy. The other one got married young, divorced, married again, and then the final one got married in her very late 30s. So these ladies have had all ends of the spectrum, right? So I'm literally sitting here talking to women who have been in all aspects of marriage. And the only one that sided with me was the one that was younger. She was like, she straight up told these ladies, she said, guys, leave her alone. I got married young. I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm happy in my marriage. I love my child that I have with my husband. Like, leave her alone about it. And they were just grilling me over and over and being so cruel to me because I had decided to get married young. And something that they said stuck with me. So the lady who had been married twice, she got married young, got divorced, and then got remarried. We had had a lot of time together, her and I. And she kind of told me why that marriage ended. And I remember briefly at one point, she said she got married young because she wanted to leave town. He was in the army or the military, and she wanted to go with him. I'm not getting married for that reason. And so that's kind of why her marriage was a mistake. She just got it too young because she wanted to leave her town. And then she got remarried. Now, of course, she's happily married, and her husband's a great guy, but she got married the first time for the wrong reasons. I'm not getting married for the wrong reasons. The lady who had gotten married in her late 30s, I later found out, was miserable in her marriage. So again, there's not some day you wake up and you're just, it's gonna work because you're this age. She was miserable, you guys, but she didn't believe in divorce. So she's in that marriage and she's sticking with it. Kudos to her for doing that, but I just want to say, she got married in her late 30s. No, a certain number does not make you ready. And then finally, the lady who had been married like 4 times or engaged for the 4th time and married 3, whatever, made the rudest comment, and she looked at the other lady and she said, yeah, I got married in my 20s and that was just too young. So what about when you got married in your 30s and your 40s and your 50s? What about those? Excuse me to believe that maybe I shouldn't be taking marriage advice from you. So that day, I remember I went home and I cried for hours. I was so frustrated. That's the day that I realized I wanted to quit my job. I had been looking for another job pretty regularly because I just hated the job in general and like the people I worked with. But big time, I remember I wanted to leave so badly because I was just like, how dare these people who don't know me, who don't know my future husband, who don't know anything about my relationship, they're just making all of these assumptions, and here they are in 4 separate walks of life. 3 of them are telling me I'm making a horrible decision when all 3 of them have either A, not gotten married for the right reasons, B, got married multiple times, so they clearly don't see marriage the way that I see it, or see they're miserable in their marriage and they got married later. Like, come on, that's just not right. So that to me was the day that I said, you know what, okay, it's okay. I am making the right decision for me, because people are always gonna be telling you that you're doing things wrong. You're always gonna be wrong. You can never do anything right. That's the world we live in, unfortunately, and it's the saddest thing, and I wish that we could change it, and I'll never stop trying to change it. I'll never stop saying things back to people who say things like, you're too young to get married, or what are you doing getting married, or 20s are too young. It's just BS. You can tell me whatever statistic you want to tell me. You don't know my relationship, you don't know my husband, you don't know my life. And although you see this little brief synopsis of my actual life on the internet, you think that you kind of understand it. You don't. And the people that you know, you see a brief little part of their life and you assume that you know it, but you don't. So you certainly don't know somebody when you meet them on the elevator and you spend 10 seconds with them from the time it takes you to go up to down. Guys, my whole point to this video is I just wanted to tell you that it is okay to be frustrated. You don't have to sit silently and accept it. I do a lot of times, but it is so frustrating. Young marriage is so fun because I don't get to just grow old with my husband. I get to grow up with him. Like, that is so cool. And honestly, people are right. I got married young, but if I had to do it all over again, I'd get married younger. I would have married him a year into our relationship because I walked into the place where I met him and God clearly said, that's who you're gonna marry. We didn't get married for the wrong reasons, and I am so sick and tired of people just categorizing all young adults and saying, you're just too young for it. I hope that you understand you are not alone. It is perfectly okay to tell somebody to shove it where the sun don't shine if they are randomly just sitting there telling you you're not ready for marriage. But above all, pray for those people. Pray for our world, first of all, that the people think hate is okay and just randomly being mean to strangers is okay. But I mean, I'm a firm believer in like praying for those that hurt you. So if you have somebody that's a part of your life and they are a friend of yours and they're telling you these cruel things like those women did to me that one day when I was working, just pray for them because your situation will get better. Just wanted to get on here and kind of let you guys know that those are my thoughts, and I will continue to put them out there. I will continue to advocate for young marriage because that one day when I worked with those 4 women, I mean, it changed my perspective on marriage entirely. Maybe this was a venting session. Maybe it helped some of you guys. I don't know. But I believe in you. I believe in your relationship. I believe that we can change the statistic of like young marriages failing if we're doing it for the right reasons. And I believe that me and then all of my friends who are married and young, we truly are. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to go below and click the subscribe button if you are new here, and I hope that I see you in my next video.